Hi everyone, and welcome back into my kitchen where I'm showing you how to make a series of Persian dishes, well, my favorite Persian dishes. In this particular video I'm going to show you how to make a kuku. A kuku is a Persian frittata. Now, I say frittata because it's mostly filling with a bit of egg to bind it together. It's not like an omelette, which is mostly egg and a little bit of fillings thrown in. And this is one of two of my favorite kukus, which is a Sabzi Kuku. So it's full of sabzi, which is green, fresh herbs. We've got coriander, we've got mint, we've got dill, and we've got some flat leaf parsley and curly because I couldn't find enough of the flat leaf today. I've also got a little bit of spinach. Now, this is not a traditional addition into the Sabzi Kuku, but I find it adds a really nice softness. I've wilted this. It was baby spinach. Wilting just means pouring boiling water over, letting it sit and squeezing all the liquid out. I then chopped it up. And then I've got some leeks and spring onions here, which I've already cooked up. If you want the ingredients and the method for this particular recipe, it's on my blog, aliasvibrantlife.com. You can just go there and check it out. I'm also going to add a little bit of green chili. And the other thing that's a little bit different about this vis-a-vis an omelette, we're going to add a little bit of flour and a little bit of baking powder, which is going to help bind it together and puff it all up. Now, the trio of Persian spices we're using it's called adviar actually, this trio. It's basically cardamom, cumin and ground cinnamon. So we're going to add all of those together, but the first thing we need to do is to whisk our eggs up, and you do need to whisk them for a good couple of minutes. You really want lots of air being beaten into the eggs. So next you need to chop your herbs, and look, I'm sure most Persian grandmothers would turn in their graves at me chopping all of these herbs in a food processor, but life is too short. And if they're clean and dry enough, then they shouldn't turn to mulch. And if you just pulse them, I'll show you how I'm going to do that, then it really shouldn't be a problem. And you'll have nice freshly chopped herbs. You want them finely chopped anyway, so this is perfect. And that's that. It smells absolutely amazing. You know, that freshly cut grass smells absolutely wonderful. The next thing is to basically fold it all into your whisked eggs, which you can see they're kind of doubled in volume because I really gave them a good whisk. I've got my already cooked leeks and spring onions here. Make sure it's cool before you add it into the mix. You don't want to start cooking the egg just yet. Okay, I'm adding my wilted chopped spinach. And there's a little bit of green chopped chili. Again, you can leave that out, but I think it really does add a really nice, like just a little bit of fresh heat. You can add our chopped herbs. I've got a little bit of freshly chopped garlic here. Again, you can leave that out if you don't want, or you can even add it into the leeks and the spring onions. I'm going to sprinkle over my spices. I'm going to add my tablespoon of flour and my tablespoon of baking powder. And then you really just want to fold that all together. I also need to add a little bit of salt. And then I've got one little sort of secret ingredient, but I've got some zeresht or barberries. These little red jewel-like berries come from Iran. I haven't found them anywhere locally here, but there is a deli that sells them down the road from me. Now, if you can't get hold of these, really don't panic. It's not something that's going to make or break this dish, but it really adds a gorgeous pop of color and also really nice acidic tang. So these berries are very, very special because they add that little element of acid tang in between mouthfuls. Once you've folded all of that in together, make sure it's fully combined. We're going to put it in our frying pan. You need a frying pan that you can put into the oven because we're going to take it from the stove top and pop it into the oven to finish cooking. Let's add it into our pan. The idea is you want the herbs underneath to caramelize a little because that's what's going to give it a really fab flavour. But you also want to maintain that really nice green colour, which is just so fresh and pretty. Once you put it all in the pan, you just want to spread it out. And you'll see it looks like there's a ridiculous amount of herbs and hardly any egg. But that is exactly what a kuku is. It's mostly filling. This is such a great meal for a really nice brunch with friends. You can even actually put it into a roasting pan, a lined roasting pan, and actually bake it in the oven as well and serve it up in squares. It's delicious the next day as well, cold for a picnic, or even wrapped in flatbreads with some feta cheese. It really is delicious also for a light lunch or even a nice light summer supper. So I'm going to leave it there for about 10 minutes on a moderate heat. I'm going to cover it with a lid, and then once it's cooked for about 10 minutes, I'm going to pop it in the oven for another 10, and then it's going to be done. So once you've taken the kuku out of the oven, it's really important before you serve to let it rest for a while. It should be served room temperature, that way you really get to taste and appreciate all the different flavors. I'm going to lift it onto a plate. I think it's always really, really nice to serve it in one piece. Now this is a yogurt dressing I make. This is not traditional at all, but it's basically a cup of yogurt I've mixed with 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, some cumin, some salt, and a little bit of garlic. And I just think it goes so nicely with the Sabzi Kuku. So you can just dot it around. And if you had some of those barberries yourself, you could always add a few at the top for color. But I find that the yogurt sauce really just adds extra deliciousness into this dish. And then, yeah, I would say this size, you know, you could serve 6 people if you were having it as like a main meal, like a brunch or a simple supper or a lunch. Or you could cut it into 8 pieces if it was a starter. I'm just going to try a bit. My mouth is actually salivating as I speak. There we go. And it's a gorgeous colour inside, green with those little flecks of red. I'm just going to try some. The combination of all those fresh herbs is so unusual. It's not something at all we eat very often. It's absolutely delicious. I hope you're going to give this one a try.